I'm Barbara McRae.
And I'm Bob Spinozzi, and this is Littleton Common.
Well, welcome to fall. What a fabulous crowd we had at the Friends September luncheon. The mood seemed so cheerful, and we were glad to see so many join us. Il Forno was the caterer and filled us with those old Italian tastes. Perfect. Gil Silva entertained us with his guitar. We have to have him return again this year. In October, we are on our way to Munich and the Oktoberfest, and that'll be on Wednesday, October 10th at noon. We'll be eating knockwurst, sauerkraut, and the trimmings.
And it's all catered by a real professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, what's the name of it? It's where Mr. Meat used to be on Route 110.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because it could be them or someone else. But it certainly isn't going to be me cooking it.
No, okay. Well, but I mean, so I'm sure they're going to have dumplings and red cabbage and wow.
I don't know. But they do a good job.
Yeah.
So, but we'll probably be serving it. Okay, well, this time we will be charging $3 a person at the door. And of course, you have to sign up no later than October 6th, or there won't be a seat with your name on it. So call 978-540-2470. Then next, it's November and the Veterans Day Luncheon. And this time, the meal is American. We will salute our men and women who have sacrificed so much to keep our country safe. But let's not forget the wives and husbands and children who keep the home fires burning while they wait for the returning of the military troops. December 12th, we will top off the year at the North Pole, and I'm really anxious to see what we have for lunch that day. So mark your 2018 calendars and travel with us. Always sign up at the COA office, though. Make sure you do that.
So we have, all these holidays coming up, and I actually have a segment coming up later in October with the series we're running with Emerson Hospital. And it's going to be on, this piece will be on sensible eating during the holidays.
Uh-huh.
So, we all have to be on the lookout for that. We know that, don't we?
Yeah. Well, does it mean that we'll really follow it?
No, doesn't mean that at all.
But some people will, and it'd be important to those people.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. So, well, the civic sites all over town have put on their fall faces. The Littleton Country Gardeners are busy working on their programs and sites for the 2018-19 season. Some new members have joined us, and we have a gentleman with us now, and we hope to have more men come with us and work around the sites in town. If you are interested, call President Peg McLaughlin or Vice President Sharon Corbin, or come as our guest to one of our meetings and talk to our members. October meeting is Perennial Propagation with speaker Jana Milbacher of Enchanted Gardens. Date is October 23rd at 9 a.m. at the New England Forestry Foundation.
Now the flu clinic schedule has been posted. You can receive your shot in Littleton on Tuesday, October 9th at 10 to 12 at 33 Shattuck Street and 3 to 6 p.m. at the middle school cafeteria.
Yes, keep up to date on the latest in health questions and come to the Littleton Health Fair on Saturday, October 13th from 10 to 2 p.m. And it'll be at the Littleton Middle School. The health fair vendors have a wealth of great information for most of your questions. There will be free health and wellness screenings, door prizes, and raffles. And the Concord Park, in conjunction with Neshoba Park, will provide lunch. Shirley Jenner of Fine Balance Body Works will be back this season with her massage therapy. Sign up at the COA office and meet Shirley for her 10 minutes of relaxing massage. Appointments will be available from 9:05 to 11:35, and that's October 15th and October 29th. So sign up, but go to the office and do that. Don't miss out on this appointment because they go very fast. New game at the COA, pickleball. Have you ever heard of pickleball?
Yeah, it's apparently becoming quite the rage now. Similar to tennis, it's a smaller court. It's very noisy when you hit the ball. The ball's kind of like a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
And it's really come on strong. Started, of course, in the warmer climates and with some of the senior housing, but all ages now.
Huh.
No, it's a big deal.
I had never heard of it before they started
never tried
here.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're having fun with it, I guess. So Sue Adams is the instructor. The game is played at the Shattuck Street Tennis Court, and that's on October 5th and the 12th, 10 a.m. to 11:30, and the cost is only $3 per person. And you can join by calling, guess who, the COA office, 540-2470. Craft classes have begun, and there will be some great projects during the year. On Wednesday, October 24th, class begins at 1 p.m. in the multi-purpose room. You'll make a plaque with a scarecrow on one side and a snowman on the other. Some other surprises and projects are in the works. Anita Harding and Kathy Coughlin will be there to assist you. The cost is the usual $3 per person for supplies, and you must call the COA office to sign up. Big surprise, right? Christmas is coming, and that means it's time for the holiday bazaar and the workshops. The Loving Stitches group is already working on what they will donate. There is room for you to come in and join the fun. No cost, no reservations, and you won't need yarn or needles. It's all in room 233 every Monday from 12 to 2 p.m. So why don't you stop by and visit? You might like to stay. There is plenty to keep you busy and enjoying things to do. Pickleball, crafts, Loving Stitches, movie of the month, the Friends lunches, and of course, Indian Hill. And here is Evan Thea to tell you about that.
Thanks, Barbara, and we just can't wait to have you come down to Indian Hill this month to sample some of the great music offerings that we have. And this month, we've got jazz. We've got Jason Palmer Quintet. He's one of the best of Boston. He's coming on Friday, October 19th with his quintet, 7:30 p.m. over at Indian Hill. He'll be doing some originals and contemporary takes on jazz standards. So again, that's the Jason Palmer Quintet on Friday, October 19th. Tickets are $15 for that. If you like Celtic music, we've got a new offering. It's called the Celtic Roots Jam. And that's on Friday, October 12th, 7:30 p.m. We've got fiddler Lauren Martin and friends coming in, and she'll be doing a concert, and then you can join us for a jam session. You can bring your instrument and sit in with the players, or just stay to listen. So again, Celtic Roots Jam with Laurel Martin and friends, Friday, October 12th, 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $10 for that. Chamber music, we've got Jenny Tang and Eliko Akahori, two dynamic pianists, performing arrangements for four hands and two pianos by Schubert, Ravello, Rachmaninoff, and more. And that'll be Sunday, October 14th at 3 o'clock p.m. Tickets are $15 for that. Over at the Kaleidoscope Gallery in Groton, we've got the Walden Chamber Players coming in on Saturday, October 20th at 8 p.m. and tickets are $35 for that. You can learn more at indianhillmusic.org or give us a call, 486-9524. Our New England Flute Orchestra will begin its series on Sunday, October 28th, 3 o'clock p.m. over at Indian Hill, and they'll be doing a concert called Americana. And then we've got a discovery lecture. It's going to be Tchaikovsky and the Russian Five with our faculty member Vladimir Gurin giving that talk, and that's Tuesday, October 30th at noon over at the music school. Tickets $10 for that. And our popular box lunch concert season continues, and that begins on Thursday, October 18th. 2 shows, 11 and 1:30 p.m. And this time it's going to be music of the 1920s with Eric Baldwin guitar, Justin Meyer bass, and a bunch of other musicians. So you're really going to enjoy that. 486-9524 or indianhillmusic.org. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Eve. It's always great programs there. Come to the movies this month, and the movie is The Book Club. Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen star as friends who undergo romantic awakenings after reading 50 Shades of Grey. Join the moviegoers on October 25th at 1 p.m. in room 230, and there's a $2 donation, and that's appreciated.
And, all-star cast. Also, Andy Garcia, Richard Dreyfuss,
Oh,
Don Johnson.
really?
Some names from a few years ago, but they're big names. So
Yeah.
it was just released early this year, too, so it's a new movie.
Yeah. Well, they'll have to come and see how it turns out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, the Littleton Lyceum continues to bring top entertainment to the Littleton High School, the Performing Arts Center. If you like Southern Rail Bluegrass, join friends on Friday, October 12th, for a performance by the Southern Rail. The performances are high energy, exuberant fun with ribbon harmonies, irrepressible humor, and sparkling banjo, mandolin, and guitar solo work.
Barbara, you get a star for reading that very well. Talk about a tongue twister.
Yeah.
You made it, though.
Yeah, sometimes it's not easy. I make it up. That's what I do. I make it up.
Good show.
Well, Southern Rail celebrates the long-awaited release of their 12th CD, Voices in the Wind. Purchase tickets at the door or online at www.littletonlyceum.org. But get out and enjoy everything on our list. Sam Alvarez has a list of activities at the Reuben Hoare Library for you to check on. Hi, Sam.
Thanks, Barbara. And here's a sampling of what's coming up at the Reuben Hoare Library. At the beginning of October, there will be a college financial aid information session. We will go over strategies to get more aid and pay for college. Please check our website at www.littletonlibrary.org for more information. The Seven Bridge Writing Group is offering a 10-week writing class at the library. This group practices writing and then reads what you write together. Writers of all experience levels, genres, and styles are welcome. Each week, the facilitator will offer a variety of prompts to get your creative juices flowing, and will write alongside the other participants. Please visit the library website to learn how to register. The Friends of the Library book sale will take place on October 18th through October 20th. Please stop by to support our Friends group. Author Jeremy D'Entremont's book, New England Lighthouses and the People Who Kept Them, gives them a good overview of New England lighthouses, including quite a bit of Boston Light. This event is Thursday, October 4th at 7 p.m. Strange New England has been around for over 15 years, hunting down some of the more interesting history, folklore, legends, monsters, and places in the Northeast. This program takes place on Wednesday, October 24th at 7 p.m. There will also be a teen Halloween craft program on October 25th at 1:30 p.m. All teens are welcome. There are plenty more events to take part in this month. For dates and times for everything I just shared with you, please visit the library website at www.littletonlibrary.org. We also have several museum passes available for patrons to check out for free. Check out a museum pass at the New England Aquarium, the Museum of Fine Arts, the zoo, and many other local attractions. Passes are available for free to our patrons and provide discounts for the whole family. Please stop by the library to learn more. Thank you, and I'll see you next month.
Do you know your computer? Well, Bill Vale's classes will help you. Classes are held every Thursday from 10:30 to 11:30 in room 230. October 4th, Basics of Security, keeping your system and your information safe. October 11th, Social Engineering, safe internet practices for assessing information. October 18th, Email Systems, email clients, webmail, changing email systems. October 25th, the cloud. What is it? Where is it? And how do we use it safely? Come into room 230 and join this class. You'll be glad you did.
Veterans Day ceremony will be on the Littleton Common November 11th at 11 a.m. This is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Veterans agent John Boroski is looking for information of World War I veterans from anyone who had a relative in this war. There are 102 World War I era veterans buried at West Lawn Cemetery here in Littleton. Ceremony will include veterans' acknowledgments, friends, family, and supporters are welcome. Veterans Breakfast prepared by Littleton's police and fire departments. This is a free offering for veterans of all ages. Come to the Senior Diner at Town Hall on Wednesday, October 31st.
So let's not forget news from the thrift shop. And our $3 bag sale was a wonderful success. Thank you for your donations and purchases. The fall and winter clothing is on the racks and there is a lot to choose from. Are you looking for a fun volunteer job? We are looking for someone to manage the shop. Please, we'd love to have you come out and check it out. Would you like to help someone manage the shop with you? Come in and talk to us and see if this is for you. Columbus Day is October 8th, and the offices and diner will be closed. Don't forget the goblins on Halloween, and don't forget to go to town meeting on October 29th. Join me today when my guest is Anna Hueston. Anna is an elected member of the Planning Board and a volunteer for the last 2 years on the Master Plan Implementation Committee. Anna is also a member of the Littleton Rotary Club along with her husband, Rob. Quite a valuable volunteer and an important part of our town's future. She and her family moved here in 2016. Okay, so.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming to Littleton Common today. There's a lot going on right now with the planning board and all the boards, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
But the big thing right now is, first of all, I want to ask you, how did you become involved in the board you're on?
Oh, sure. Well, upon arriving, I soon met a couple of individuals, including Paul Avella, who was then chairing the Master Plan Update Steering Committee. And after chatting with him over the course of a couple of months, there was an opportunity to apply for the Update Steering Committee. And so I applied and was appointed to that particular committee. So I was able to be a part of that for the last 6 months of that particular committee's life. Then when that committee sunset, I applied for the current Master Plan Implementation Committee. And knowing how much work there is to do on behalf of the town over the next 13 years to be able to implement the master plan, the planning board was sort of like the next appropriate step for me to take, in the sense of being very involved and active and knowing that a lot of the key drivers were coming from the master plan in terms of our land use. So I wanted to be a part of that. And I have a lot of relevant skills that I think are helpful to the planning board.
It was really great that you jumped right in.
Thanks.
You hope that people, even newcomers to town, would take an active part in what's going to be happening to the town, especially if they intend to stay.
Right.
So you did a
Right.
good thing
I
right
intend
away.
to stay, yes.
Yeah. Okay, today we're going to be talking about the density with this housing
Yes.
that we're trying to bring to Littleton. Can you talk a little bit about that and tell me what's happening? Because I know there's a lot of neighborhoods where people are, I'm not sure, I want that in my neighborhood.
Yes, correct.
But, there are places like this around other towns that you don't even notice. So tell us a little about that.
Sure. So currently, the Senior Residential Development Bylaw, which was passed last year at town meeting, it's getting what I would call a run in terms of implementing it, and we have 2 applicants currently that have an application, one in Jones Meadow, close to Spectacle Bond and Cricket Lane, and another one on King Street. And each of those developments has gone through several months in the review process with the planning board, and in the sense that they're not quite there. They're not really what we were intending on seeing in terms of the amount of density in the location, the affordability. There's a lot of different discussions and questions about that. So in considering density, which again is how close you are to your neighbor, and in some cases density means having your housing unit attached to somebody else's housing unit, we really wanted to take a close look at, well, now that we're seeing what applicants are coming up with, perhaps we need to make some adjustments to that particular bylaw to ensure that we're going to get more of what we really do want, because density is important.
Yeah. How do you feel about the way it's going?
The current bylaw?
And whatever the board is doing right now.
So I think the board right now is, as with anything that's new, you have to try to figure out if it's really going to be working or if you need to make any kind of modifications. I think that as a board, we are new, and I'm new to the board, and in working together to try to figure out what is going to be the best that we can do for seniors. And I think after being on the board for the last few months, I do believe that people have the best intentions of trying to work with what we have and trying to figure out what might need to be a little bit different in order to really fill the needs of our Littleton seniors.
So I've been getting the feeling too that I call them the fathers of the town, are starting to really wake up to, maybe they've done it forever, but lately it seems a little more obvious that they are waking up to the needs of the seniors and the seniors in Littleton. Although often the prices for houses like that are new, are very expensive, and people come from out of town that can afford them, and our seniors are moving out. And a lot of them would like to stay. They would like to be here because they've been here, they probably got married, came here, had children here, and now they want to grow old here. So I think it's probably hard for the boards to, or the builders, to come up with a price and a style house that can help these people.
Exactly. Well, seniors fall into all different income brackets because ultimately price and what an individual or a family can afford is all based on their income. And so there are a couple of different ways to look at this in terms of what's affordable. So you may have heard me at times say big A and little a, but there are folks who are in an income situation where they have lower income.
Right.
And there's a term around that where folks who are in lower income categories can oftentimes receive some government assistance. So folks who have 80% of area median income, so median income being 50% of households are below that amount, another 50% are above that amount. So as an example, if an area median income is around $60,000 or less, folks earning or who have household income $60,000 or less might be eligible, and in that case, the eligibility would perhaps allow them to move into a subsidized apartment or into purchasing a subsidized home. In terms of other folks who aren't in that lower income category, but still perhaps aren't earning enough to be able to purchase market rate homes, or that there aren't apartments for rent in the area, folks in this category are our town employees. We have a good proportion of our town employees who are probably in this median income range of, say, $80,000 to $150,000. Excuse me, not 80, sorry. In this income range of $60,000 to $113,000, for example. And so folks in that range could probably purchase more than folks that are in the lower income. But still, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And so we need to be able to find developers who can build what it is that we need to be able to have folks in this household income bracket who can actually afford housing that isn't more than 30% of their income. Okay? And so that's part of the equation, is being able to fit the needs of what affordability is based on folks' income. And of course, there's a whole category of folks that that have the ability to pay market rate, and that's terrific. So that's why we have a full spectrum of needs. We
Right.
have seniors who do in fact need assistance in some way. We have other seniors who might be empty nesters, but maybe their household income really won't allow them to downsize because the current offerings are still too expensive.
Yeah.
So that's part of what we need to do as a planning board.
Yeah.
And I think prioritizing the needs of Littleton seniors and continuing to focus on that will help us to get that accomplished.
Right. That's got to be a hard thing to do, too. Because, yeah, figuring out how many in town want to stay and what's their income and can they afford, and I'm sure the builders are thinking of, well, it's going to cost me to build this little area of houses because the wood is going up and, it gets very expensive for them too. So we feel that building a two-story house with huge rooms is not necessarily what a senior wants.
Correct. And I would say that in terms of the type of houses, those type of houses would be okay for some, but that's not really where we're hearing our priority right now.
Right.
So, for example, in the age-appropriate building guidelines for seniors, one-floor living is really paramount.
Yeah.
And so for any structure, any housing unit or housing structure to be built, we need to keep that in mind.
Right. Does it take up more room on the property to have a one-floor unit, you think, rather than a two-story? I mean, they might be thinking of the property too. Like, I'm going to take up a good piece of this property if I keep building ranch-type houses, and I can only build maybe 20 instead of 30. So I wonder if they're thinking of that too.
The devil is in the details of the finances and how they're able to get their financing as well, because they're developing this and clearly they need to be able to get their own financing, and sometimes through different credit agencies, through different government programs, there might be assistance to be able to work with developers, because that's done all the time in terms of credits and other financing mechanisms. So I guess I would say that developers have the opportunity to play with their numbers.
Okay.
So if, for example, they are planning on building 10 very large homes, well, what if they built a few more smaller homes? So let's say they built 20 instead of 10. So they need to figure out, well, what is that going to mean for my numbers? And there has to be a break point at some place that really it makes sense for them to do something that helps to meet the needs of our seniors who need a different type of housing than the typical type of housing that's being built.
Right. Well, it's not an easy decision, I guess. It's not an easy job, but we have to think about what the seniors need. We don't want them out in the street. We don't want them, moving anywhere that they wouldn't like. out of town.
Correct. And that actually brings up a very good point in terms of what it is that we are proposing for a couple of amendments to the senior residential bylaw for fall town meeting on October 29th. I think the key differences in what we currently have as a bylaw and what is being proposed is first that we would be able to actually identify where we want the senior housing. So as
Right.
you mentioned, the applications that we currently have for senior developments have density in a place that people really don't feel comfortable with it there. In one situation, another situation, there's a little bit more comfort level. So if we don't want it there, then where? And in going back to our lovely master plan, it can guide us in terms of where. And it's been identified through the work that was done in the master plan, in the Littleton Housing Production Plan, that citing the location of senior housing should be considered in areas that are already developed. For example, the Common, the Point, by the Littleton train station, because there are activities for seniors. It allows them to continue to be productive in the community, a lot easier than perhaps being in an area of town that doesn't have that walkability.
Right.
And as you know, the revitalization of the Common is something that the Master Plan Implementation Committee is working on, so it somewhat goes hand in hand. So being able to have a location identified as an amendment is important, because if we have it clearly articulated that we want senior development in these places, in proximity to these places, then it will not have the current situation that we're having.
Right. I wonder, are those the only places that we can think about for senior housing? I mean, we've got a lot of land around here, but I'm wondering, is there anything else that would make people feel comfortable?
Well, based off what we know so far from the input to the master plan, folks would feel comfortable with housing in the current areas as I described. Now, if there is town-owned property that is close to these areas as well, that could certainly also be considered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, as far as the seniors are concerned, a lot of them still drive. I mean, we can't think of all of them as very, very old.
Correct.
But some of them still drive, and there's a van, or they could have a van that goes to that housing area to get them so that they can do things, go to the store, go
Yes.
to, grocery store or whatever. So I wonder sometimes if the seniors are thinking about, I'm not going to be sitting there with no one to take me anyplace, because if they have a van, and if even your friends drive, you can all go to the store together. But I do think people sit back and go, I'll never get out of there if they go towards the train station or something. But I don't believe that.
Well, actually, that raises a really good point, because in the one of the other amendments that we are proposing is to actually be very, a little bit more directive, I would say, around what type of amenities we would like to be able to see in any senior development. And as an example, in one of the applications that's being reviewed on King Street, during the last planning board meeting, there were discussions about having tennis courts, about having walking trails around the community, a gazebo area, bocce ball court. So there are...
They would probably have a clubhouse too, wouldn't they?
Well, that particular one didn't come up with a clubhouse idea because they have 17 units. But a clubhouse for another development could also be an idea. So, for example, with the train station, something that has been sort of thrown out there is maybe that can be the site of what would be more a continuum of care type of area where there is, I'll call it active seniors.
Right.
Active seniors so that they can hop on the train, go into the city, or get into their car and drive off further west. But once a senior has a need for some assistance, that there be an assisted living facility as well. And then you can continue down to perhaps memory, or you can continue over to memory care.
Yeah.
If a senior continues to be in the area and needs memory care, then that would be available.
Yeah.
So having a compound, if you will, that's also something that we identified in the master plan. But that kind of a development definitely requires a little bit more space. And your idea of having a shuttle out there to be able to be available for seniors to come into the common, to go to other places, is certainly something that we can bring up to the developer.
Yeah, I think
When and
that's-
if that time comes, yeah.
But you think that this will be years and years from now, or I know they're working on it, so is there some kind of a idea that, the younger seniors might see this happen?
Absolutely, I believe so. And I think that's because, again, we have a lot of people talking about the same type of ideas.
Oh.
It's now a matter, I believe, of how do we work with prospective developers to fulfill the vision that we have.
Right. Well, that would be good. So, is there some other items that you want to get to our audience so that they
sure.
understand kind of what's going on?
Sure. Well, one of the other primary changes that we're proposing in the current senior bylaw is that there is a 10% number in there for affordability. So if a developer is looking at building 30 units, as an example, 3 of those units would be made affordable. We're just thinking that based on where we are right now, with the need in the town, that isn't going to be enough.
No, I don't think so. It just automatically, you think, uh-oh.
So we are proposing as a planning board to increase that amount to somewhere between 25 to 50%. And so it could feel like a lot right now, but if we decide as a town in X number of years that, okay, I think we have enough affordable senior housing now, we could always change the bylaw then if we wanted to.
Right.
So in order to get that 25 to 50% of affordable housing, obviously we need to find the developer who's willing to work with us on that. There could be perhaps other partners that come into play that would enable for something like that to happen. That's all part of what work we still have to do as a planning board.
Right.
And one of the things that I know I spoke about when I was running for this office was the fact that I do believe we need to be more proactive in planning for what we want. And I do believe that going out and trying to encourage and identify developers that might be interested in coming to Littleton is something we should be doing.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Well, I hope that, do you feel that we've covered what you want our townspeople to know or understand?
Well, let me just say this in closing. For the senior residential bylaw amendments, it is going to be a vote at town meeting.
Okay.
And I would highly encourage everybody to take a look at the warrant when it comes out. And if you have any questions, to contact someone from the planning board or Maren Toohill, who is our town planning administrator. And I think a vote for no in this particular case would basically mean that the town would be having more applications like the 2 that we have. And then we would be trying to figure out, okay, this is what we have to work with. Density is coming in places that perhaps we don't want. It's not going to be as affordable as we want.
Right.
So that's the primary reason why I do not believe people should vote no. A vote for yes, however, will mean that we can encourage the development where we want it, that we can have a little bit more affordability, that we have amenities that are actually going to be purposeful for our seniors. So I believe a vote for yes is important. And I think the trade-offs are not good trade-offs in terms of continuing to work on this, because it means that our seniors that are currently on the waiting list for affordable housing, the big A affordable, and our workforce, our town employees, employees who come into town from other places and have very long commutes, won't be able to even consider Littleton as an option to come in, or for seniors to be able to stay here,
Yeah.
because we don't have that housing to meet the needs of folks who are in that lower to middle income range.
Yep. This is what I hear the seniors worrying about. So as long as you're hitting on the subjects that they feel important, that would make them feel a lot better, I'm sure. But it's exactly what they talk about, and feel that I'm not going to be able to live here. It's just never going to be affordable enough for me. So yeah, keep working on it.
Oh, we will. And it is work.
I know. I've seen you studying there. So, well, Anna, I thank you for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me, Barbara.
I really appreciate it, and I hope that we got some kind of word out there for our seniors, so that they're not as, edgy about what's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And in knowing that what we are trying to accomplish is to get this bylaw right, so it really works in favor of the seniors
Good.
that are in Littleton.
That's what we want. Okay, well, thank you again.
Thank you.
And, go read the bylaws and go to town meeting, because we want, it's hard to get the seniors there, but we can probably get some rides for them. You should go, even if it's for a short time during the meeting, at least go and hear what's happening. So, we are worried about our seniors. I mean, I'm a senior, so I'd like to feel that it's, somebody's caring about my friends and other seniors.
Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
And now, it's my pleasure to have John Boroski, our veterans agent here in Littleton. John, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How long have you been veterans agent in town?
It should be about 8 years, 2010.
Really been that long?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Oh, it's been that long.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it, but sometimes it feels like it.
You have a lot of things to talk about related to the veterans, but this is a big one for the whole scope of the Veterans Administration. The 100th year anniversary of the war to end all wars, the Great War.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
The one that in all wars,
So-
which it hasn't been. But that's okay. Yes, it is. It's coming up very shortly.
So why don't you tell us about the different things you have going on?
At the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the World War I ended by the signing of an armistice in France. So we all know Veterans Day, November 11th, 2018, at 11 a.m., we were going to mark the 100th anniversary of World War I in the town of Littleton. That day, the veterans from the town will hold a special ceremony on the Common to commemorate the special anniversary. If you have a relative who served in World War I and would like to have them remembered or recognized on November 11th, please contact the town, contact me at my office or via email. We hope the community will attend this event, and there will be a luncheon following the ceremony at the VFW Post at 21 Taylor Street in Littleton. So we hope to gather a good amount of people from town, for that day. I've been contacted by a few members of families that have had relatives in town. I know there's 102 veterans buried at West Lawn. So there's, we're planning on reading their names. I'm going to have some students read their names, so that they be recognized, and et cetera. A couple other things that are going on in town. The Veterans Corner project. We have to add 458 names to the monuments that are there. Actually, new monuments. So we're working on that. That's another thing that we've been working on for the past couple of years, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. We're trying to get that done before November next year. And also the VFW is hosting a Halloween party that on Saturday, October 27th, with the band Loose Connection playing for dance purposes and entertainment. Also, if you want any information about veterans activities in town, please follow the Friends of Littleton Veterans on Facebook.
I think it's wonderful that the World War I veterans are being recognized.
Well, they need it.
We've gone through all of us the wars going on now, and of course Vietnam and Korea and World War II, and it was a horrible war. World War I, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, it was. And there's a lot of people in town that I know that the relatives. I'm sure the older ones are gone, but still, I'm sure there's some others that have forgot information of some of the relatives.
Actually, I'm one of the people that you're looking for. My father was in World War I.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Get me the information.
Out of
if you have it.
Pennsylvania, where we all grew up.
Well, that doesn't make any difference. I got somebody else from out of town, too.
I have a little bit of information I can relate to,
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative, we're all family members or veterans, family members.
Now, look, while I have you here, you maintain an office on the second floor of town offices.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, I am now down in a small meeting room at the library.
Aha. And what are your days and hours there?
Monday and Thursday morning, 8:30 to noon.
Okay. I'll mark that down.
Thank you.
As will the rest of us.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I'm there to help any veterans, that have problems or need any help, any financial help, any to put claims into the VA system or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, you do a fantastic service.
Thank you.
To us all.
We try. That's the main thing. We try.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we won't come back till it's over there.
Thank you for watching today. Enjoy good health and don't forget to hug a senior.
I'm Nancy Levine, and I approve this message. I'm dreaming of a new senior center, just like the ones they have in Acton, Westford, Boxborough, Stowe, Chelmsford, Tingsboro, Groton, Maynard, Pepperell, Concord, Townsend, and so many more, where the hallways glisten while seniors listen to promises made so very long ago. I'm dreaming of a new senior center, but I'm in heaven right now, where I still am wishing for someone to listen, or if they wait too long and get old like me, they might be joining me sooner than later. I'm dreaming of a new senior center. May all your days be merry and bright, and and may all your promises come to light.